Hey, a very good afternoon, I guess, if you're on the West Coast. It's Los Angeles. Warrior Junior, your fighter for truth, the justice, and the American way. I guess that's the was that Superman said that? Superman, that nonsense. People don't know that was created. Yeah, Superman was created by Siegel and Schuster, right? In 1930s, in the early 30s. A lot of people don't realize that. I guess when Action Comics #1, when it premiered, I think it was in the summer of 1936. I could be wrong by a little bit, but Superman was not supposed to be a hero, hence the superhero. It wasn't Superman. If you look at the cover of Action Comics #1, you see like Superman, right, is picking up a car, and like getting ready to throw it or something. Like there's no adversary. It doesn't look like he's really protecting anybody. It shows some guy like people are running away. They're scared of this Superman. Okay, no, it's kind of interesting, and this will lead into the topic for the discussion. But let's think about this. I've dealt in collectibles and stuff. I'm not a expert on every artist, like, but I didn't heard of the great, like Jack Kirby, Neil Adams, and Walt Disney, of course, who never heard of, but people don't realize that Walt Disney, yeah, he was an artist. What he started as, of course, became the great legend of animation and pioneering what we all know today as Disney. But the Marvel comics, Marvel, and the great Stan Lee, hence his idea of creating was it amazing fantasy, which was called Amazing Adult Fantasy, but initially, but it became Amazing Fantasy. His last issue was number 15. It's kind of an interesting story because Stan Lee was experimenting with these characters, and he had this idea, and he took it to Marvel. He said, "I want to do like, well, we're wrapping up this last Amazing Fantasy. It didn't work, so we're going to do a last issue, number 15, and it's going to be the end of it." So he pleaded with them. He said, "Look, I got this idea here for this Spider Man." And they're like, "Well, you think of Superman, you think of Batman. Batman came out in the 30s, Detective Comics number 27. Detective 27. These are of course, an original copy in good shape goes for a fortune. But anyway, but yeah, so they said, well, we don't like this idea. Spiders, people are scared. Look, you have these common logic here, and it's easy to say now after the fact, but think about this. People don't, they're scared of bats. Who likes bats, right? Who likes spiders, right? So like this is like the weird backwards logic of comic books that you would think that stuff would be like it would never fly, it would never work, and it really the thing was it was just such a new genre than it did. As I say, okay, well, we're going to take chances on these comic books, but you understand these artists. I mean, they did a lot of work. Think about, I don't know if you know anything about comics, but like they draw. It's not they, it's bigger. The actual the pages that these artists draw. It's an incredible amount of work, and then you got to create a story. Of course, it's all you don't have to film it, but not like a movie. But it is an incredible amount of work that they put in to make comic books believable because I never read them, but people would read these things, so it has to have a story in there. It has to flow. So and then the characters and the stuff, and then of course things can be adapted. We all know that the Batman the series in the '60s, that was pretty cool. They brought it to people look at it now like it's real cheesy, but it was excuse me, it was really cool to watch. Like just the way it flowed. Oh, Adam, what, Robin? You know, I don't know why, but people like to make fun of people's voices. Ugh, like he's tired all the time. Ugh, Robin. Ugh, you know, Adam West, before he passed, he also did Family Guy, which was pretty cool. He played the mayor of the Quag City or whatever the hell they were in, the town. But yeah, that was a thing. And also make fun of like Captain Kirk, William Shatner's voice. They like he talks in one tone. Really interesting. But I never thought William Shatner was a voice to be made fun of. I always thought I think he's extremely underrated, typecast, as Captain Kirk. But those movies, man. I mean, come on, man. Star Trek 2, 3, 4, 5, six. Damn, the Undiscovered Country, and then Generations. It's really, man. They make fun of him. Like when he did that cameo at the Academy Awards. Remember when Seth MacFarlane was hosting, and the screen came down, and then he's there, and he's like, making fun of like, his character. But man, like it was just, people like, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like they don't get the credit to me. Like I guess he didn't know. Like he did. If you know your William Shatner stuff that he did before, he did Twilight Zone. He did other things, and I just kind of like gave him the lead in this kind of this thing that wasn't the Gene Roddenberry. It's like okay, read 3 seasons. All right, that's it. It's like, but and then he really didn't. He struggled. I think he talked about this. There was a time in between after. It might have been before he got picked up with the original Star Trek, or after. There was like he had this pretty long drought where he didn't have any work. I know it might have been after the 3 seasons. It might have been probably around 74 or something. He said he was sleeping. He couldn't even afford to pay his rent. He was sleeping in his truck with his dog. I mean, he was like, you know, it was really, yeah. He struggled for a while. It wasn't easy. Even after it might have been. I don't know. I'd have to really research, but I know then, of course, then you know, T.J. Hooker. That was later. The original, the motion picture Star Trek. Then it started to pick up for him, but he went through a drought where it was, look, even like John Travolta, like through the '80s up until the end, like really, he wasn't getting any work. It was bad. He did like one movie, I think, and after Staying Alive, it was like really, he did little off Broadway things. Like they pushed him. He got like basically pushed out of Hollywood until I think it was a Pulp Fiction, or even maybe a little bit before the Look Who's Talking, around there. But it was some of these guys. They really, you would think like catapult you, but then it's like you're not around. I know I got a little off topic with that, but let's concentrate on the narrative of the topic of what I want to talk about, because I opened up with superheroes and this kind of fantasy thing. So what we're seeing now is everybody knows about the UAP, the unidentified aerial phenomenon, which look, they keep re-showing this. I was watching a little on CNBC, and then you had, what was it, guy, the CIA director Brennan or whatever, like he's in his house or whatever, he's going like this, and he goes, yeah, it could be something we can't explain. Like he's holding his head, like he does, to thinking what he's trying to say. He doesn't even know what to say because he doesn't know what it is. Okay. Now the thing is, I know exactly what it is. All right, and I'm not going to make it simple for you because that's not how life works. Now, my point is that I want you to be able to think about what you think it is. It's not that's what part of learning is. I know what I think it is, okay, and more than likely I'm right, but it's okay, like it's not my job to teach you. It's my job to like open up your mind in the way that I see it is open up your mind so that you can actually get an idea of what you think you're seeing. Now, the problem is this goes so far back. They say, oh, since the beginning of time, people have seen something. Well, we don't have no what records. I mean, it's well, there's cave paintings and stuff, but again, it's just that's circumstantial. We don't know. Now, Neil deGrasse Tyson, whatever that guy, that astronomer, he makes some really good points. He goes, look, those people saying are giving you this grainy footage, this grainy, like we have, better technology with our phones, even with our phone. You're telling me all these people are seeing stuff, and it's always like really far away, or it's always nothing really clear, and then somebody's like, well, the media is not showing you. Well, you know what? I don't. It doesn't take much to upload something to YouTube. Like it's well, it could be special effects and stuff, but the thing is that look, you're digging in the wrong place. Is what you're looking for a simple answer to something that's beyond your comprehension. Now that's the problem, and they know this too. They're showing you what you think you're seeing, and you're not able to comprehend what you think you're seeing is because you have been brainwashed toward your understanding of what extraterrestrial life is supposed to look like. And this is a problem. See, you don't have any frame of reference, because your frame of reference is, if it's not anything like, I don't know, Men in Black or Close Encounters of the Third Time, if you're a little bit older, Whitley Strieber's book Communion. Look, you have to understand something. Like they said, was it the government did not acknowledge Area 51 for a very long time. People were saying it exists, and the government said, we don't know what you're talking about. You don't have to. And finally, the government came to say, yes, there's an Area 51. So, look, you're taking information from sources that are pretty much irrelevant. And so and then you're watching these movies, Independence Day. There's tons of this stuff feeding you this narrative that's what you're supposed to believe. Yes, that's what they War of the Worlds, E.T. You can go Contact. You can go on and on and on and on. Starship Troopers. It never ends. Star Wars. Star Trek. It's endless. It's endless. The the ideas that they're trying to throw at you. They're showing you the stars and the space, so like it's out there, but you're not able to when you put this type of ideas in your head, what it is, it just completely gives you this fabrication of what you think you're seeing now, of what it is. You're so far off. It's like everybody's looking this way when you should be looking this way. Why the hell are you looking this way? Because what it is that way is entertainment. Okay, that's what people are looking at. They're looking at entertainment. You don't understand, and then you're believing because it's convincing. Look, you gotta understand Star Wars. I'm a huge fan, right? But you have to understand something. The genius lies in the detail. Okay, it's being able to lure you into a fantasy world that does not exist. Now you have to understand, this is done. It's incredibly difficult to do this because now once it's done, it's kind of like magic. It kind of goes. It runs itself. But the thing is, you have to understand what Lucas did. Holy fuck! I mean, it was really, look, I always say, like, young people that, like, they've got it, like, creatively, and then they've got that opportunity, and he was just, damn it, man. I mean, you're talking about these guys, they were shooting it in their prime, if you know what I mean. I mean, these dudes were in their prime, And that's what it is. When dudes are in their prime, they've got gusto. They have what's the right word for it? Give me a second. Snoke said it's a ray. He goes, oh, you got a great, still that spunk you have. That's what these guys had when they were young. They had spunk. You give a great idea of like Spielberg, and not a duel is okay, but Raiders of the Lost Ark, come on, you know. Of course, working with Lucas too. These guys are coming up together. They're in their prime when they were making this stuff. They really thought things through. Incredible story. And how they did it. Star Wars. I mean, it's just unbelievable, that first movie, the whole thing. But my point is that you're watching this science fiction now. They pull you into their world, and of course, the music, like John Williams. I mean, come on, man. Like this is just it suckers you in. I mean, I hate to say sucker, but that's what it is. The videos that they're showing of this stuff, this is not brand new. Okay, they say they've been showing stuff like this. I think it was J. Allen Hynek talked about. All these guys are talking about all this kind of stuff, showing this stuff goes back to newspaper clipping, years and years. Not even before Roswell, after Roswell, all these other things, Phoenix Lights, the Gulf Breeze sightings, all this, the Stephenville, Texas, there's so many of things that people think they're seeing something. Now, you have to understand something here. They're taking this type of, I see something, I put that in my thumbnail, this kind of thing, because you have absolutely no idea what you think you're seeing. Okay, that stuff on the radar, like, again, the dumb idiots that are talking about the Chinese, the Russian, did they make a breakthrough in hypersonic technology? They're talking to you like you're an idiot. Okay, you have to understand something. Again, I use the reference: a gorilla cannot do physics. You have to try to understand that. Okay, it's very important, because what they're telling you is like they're talking to you like you're stupid. Okay, and those people are stupid. Those pilots are stupid. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo. They are stupid. I'm sorry. Okay. Now I have a great respect for the military, and the people that they do things, but you're not understanding this. Okay. You can't, I can't explain it to you, because your mind is not able to. It's something that you could possibly grow. Like you could possibly, because if I tell you what I know, you won't be able to digest it properly, because I know what it is. But again, it's like solving the Rubik's Cube. If I give it to you solved, you're going to say, oh, it's solved. Okay, but you don't know how it got there. That's what's important. You need to understand the algorithm, the steps that it takes to solve it. I could show it to you. I mean, I could pull out a Rubik's Cube and I could say, you see, there's a 9-step process. I don't know it by heart, but I know with the instructions, I've done it before. It can be solved. It solves in 9 steps through any configuration, through the algorithm. And that's what you need to kind of understand with what you think you're seeing. And what you think you're seeing is what they are showing you. Okay, they are not showing you some things. Okay, which is very important. Remember what I talked about, the screen? They won't let you look behind the curtain. Okay, they won't show you the video. They're showing you a little, the small parts of stuff. Now the problem with that is you have to create a summary judgment based on what they're showing you. The most important thing is what they're not showing you. Okay, which I know what they're not showing you, because I research, I look into all this stuff. I have to know. There's stuff that has been seen, and what they do is they remove it from your field of vision. Because what happens is, if you can see a lot of stuff when it's available, like, it's kind of like what happens is, think about this. I'm not gonna say Bitcoin. Say Dogecoin. Something before it really takes off and everybody knows about it. Like, there's a time, like, right before it takes off, like this time when it wasn't really worth anything, like Bitcoin, and then it starts to move, right? that point of starting to move, that's when the curtain is open. Okay, you're able to see behind. And then what happens is once it starts going, everybody knows about it, and that curtain is closed. You're not allowed to see behind. Okay. Same thing with these type of videos. Before this came out, there's more to that. There's more to those videos. Okay. In 2004, whatever, it was open behind, right? Then they gave it to the media thing. It's closed. The time to see in. Just like you will not see clear video of 9/11. There's a lot of stuff you will not see that happened that day. They showed it for a second, and it was taken away. Okay. And my girlfriend told me, my ex-girlfriend, sorry, my ex-girlfriend told me she was in, Manhattan when the second plane or whatever, the second she got good video of it going in. FBI came and took the video away. The curtain was closed. You have to understand this. This is really important. Because then you can get an idea. That's like the first step. Remember I talked about, okay, solving the cube. There's like a 9-step algorithm. That's the first step. You need to understand that first step first before I can explain as it goes further and further. Okay? Because I know how to solve the cube. I mean, well, I know the 9-step process. But most people want to just see the end. They want to see the cube solved. They want to know what they think they're seeing. Okay. Now, what the media is trying to do is they're throwing out a dumb, the dumb analogy to the ape or gorilla, whatever. The talking to you like you're stupid. Chinese or Russian technology. Okay. I don't know if it's hard because I feel like to answer this, it's like you have to be really stupid to say this. Think about this now very carefully. If an enemy country or foreign country put something in our proximity of our military without our permission, do you have any idea what the consequences are of that? It's an act of war. I could go further into it, but so number one, they're talking stupid to you, okay? Because you are stupid. And then they go further. They said, okay, maybe they had a breakthrough in hypersonic technology or something like that. It's irregardless if they have any breakthrough. Because that point is moot. But they're trying to sell you that dumb analogy. And then the only thing you have to relate with, you're thinking, well, it's Tic Tacs, it's a fucking it's alien life. It's alien life? Because that's all your stupid brain can comprehend. Because you're watching these dumb movies. Unbelievable. They pushed that flying saucer, thing that. And War of the Worlds or whatever. Okay. Let me try to do the best that I can to explain this to you. Hold on. This is the shirt that I wore to the gym today. I don't know if you can see the color of this. This is really important. Do you see the color of this? This is a very bright red shirt, okay? What does a bright red shirt have to do with this discussion? What does it have to do with the Rubik's Cube? What does it have to do with unexplained aerial phenomena? You remember what I said? Part of the 9-step process of solving the cube. Hold on. I like to make things visual so people can see this. Part of the 9-step process of solving this. Remember what I said? Is understanding the algorithm. You're looking at it complete, right? And that's the problem. You're looking, you want a simple answer of what you think you're seeing based on what they think they're showing you. Now, the second step. Remember I said it's 9 steps to solve it. What does the red shirt have to do with both of these things? You know, that's why I leave this, you know, because hopefully in the future, when people like watching this, it gives them time to think. That's really important because this, not the lack of hair on my head, but what's inside there called your brain needs to be working to be able to try to come up and gain an understanding of what you think you're seeing. There's no way you're going to know the importance of the red shirt tied into all of this. Okay. And I was walking to the gym wearing that bright red shirt. What does it attract? There's, you know, different types of light in the spectrum, right? You know, not that important. I can tell you what it attracted because it comes to me not every time that I'm walking to the gym, but many times I have to like go like this. Fuck. So I guess it gave it away. It attracts bumblebees. For whatever reason. Maybe they think I can be pollinated or something, right? Now, what you think you're seeing or what they're showing you, do you understand? Something could be attracted to a nuclear vessel, just as the bumblebee is attracted to my red shirt. That's the second step of this. I said it's a 9-step process. I'm not going to go through everything. Are they coming through their space-time continuum? Is it a buoy? Is it their version of a drone? Is it poking through, trying to, and then retracting? Who's they? It's not that this is not easy to understand, okay? Because you don't even know what they is. Or it, or what, or who. You want this solved without even understanding anything of what it takes to solve this. The algorithm, which of course you can look up online. Remember I talked about poking holes in the curtain? And so most people don't want to do that. They want the simple answer. What were the Phoenix lights? Simple answers, what everybody wants. Of course there's no clear footage of what flew over there at night. That's what Tyson talked about. So there's no clear, show me. It's all grainy fucking footage of this, that, whatever, nothing. With our clear thing, you can't show me anything or any proof of anything. So see, I counter argue everything. You think I'm gonna say it's extraterrestrial life? You think I'm gonna say it's that simple? It's not that simple. Yeah. Open up a physics book. You don't even, and I'm talking about like, forget if you're a gorilla, if you're a regular person, open it up like halfway through and explain to me in the physics book, like a standard intro to physics, whatever. Just open it up halfway on the page if you don't know really anything about physics, and explain to me exactly what like those equations are exactly what that's saying. It won't be able to. Looking like you're reading Chinese because you're uneducated. Not because you're stupid, but you're uneducated. There's a big difference. Huge. And you want this simple education answer, for something you don't understand. Now, I told you, I know exactly what those things are. Without a shadow of doubt, I know. But do you know why I know? Because I studied the physics book. So that way, when they open it up halfway through, I could basically tell you what they're saying there. Now, I use physics as an analogy. Remember, I told you before they close the curtain thing, there's that time before it goes up. You're able to. There's times when you can get that research, when you can look into things. That's when I do my research. When things aren't like really talked about, not popular, who cares about that? That's when I look into things that I find interesting. I knew about Area 18 years ago. Years ago, okay? But everybody talks about 51. Of course you haven't heard about Area 18 because you don't fucking know anything of anything. Jesus. Everybody's looking that way. I'm looking that way, okay? Almost everybody's looking that way. A small handful are looking that way. Most people, their head is in the sand. You know, they just it's stupid. I know they keep showing that same stupid videos, and then those pilots, those older now, and they stare, and that woman goes, "Yeah, I was flying a government aircraft. It's declassified." You know, she was just garbling. She wasn't saying anything. Of course, not saying anything. None of those people are saying anything because they don't know what to say. They don't even know what they saw. They think they know what they thought they saw years ago. You don't think they were debriefed? You don't think they were told to open fire on something that's like like could be Chinese or fucking Russian invading U.S. military airspace? You think they just watch? They don't take action. The Department of Defense, like that's where they have like weapons on the jets, right? They're there for a reason to protect the aircraft carrier, okay, or whatever the hell it was, a nuclear vessel, whatever. Don't you understand? Don't you see? That's the problem. They talk to you like you're so stupid. You don't think they know what it is? The people like way above that you're even talking about? Believe me, they know because they're the ones behind the curtain. They know exactly what it is. Fuck. They're just not telling you anything. Because you don't need to know. It's none of your fucking business. They know exactly what it is. More than me. But they sell you this narrative, this nonsense. Because they're talking to the people that are looking that way, the head in the sand people. Get it? The head in the sand people. Get it? Star Wars. Sand people. You think Lucas is fucking stupid? We call them the sand people. Stupid. Head in the sand. Their heads weren't in the sand, but they call them the sand people. Obi-Wan, remember he played the dragon? The sound he made scared the shit out of the sand people. That's enough about that. I basically gave you the first two steps, okay? I led into the third, actually. I led into the third one. I'm not going to go through the all nine. No way. But that's, leading you, that's two completed steps leading into the third. But I want to address one last thing about the COVID vaccine. And now you got the people that are unvaccinated, which I am proudly, I do not believe in this vaccination thing, okay? I think it's a con, is what it is, okay? And now they try to make you feel like if you're not vaccinated, that you're part of the problem. Of course, because what they want to inject you with is a fertility, is something probably it's not microchips. That's they try to say that, but it's not. It's more than likely it's something that's going to affect human fertility rates in men and women over length of time, because that's the goal: population control. You gotta bring down, you know. So the way is the masks keep people from connecting, and the vaccine keeps people procreating. It makes it harder for them to have babies and stuff. So a combination of things. That's what I think it is. And I told it's not a conspiracy theory. That's a dumb, when they say that the microchips in the vaccine. See, they try to talk, they try to give you dumb logic, dumb, make these people like they think they're real smart, but they're not. It's stupid. I told you this has to deal with population control, one way or the other. You can control a population two different ways. You can control the amount of people of the population, and then you can control the population as far as which direction they're headed. Remember, that's what people in the top 1%, that's what they basically do. They don't control the procreation aspect. That's the reason for the novel, the Corona-19 coronavirus. That's the whole idea behind it. That controls the numbers. The actual control of the direction of people. That's part of it, but it's also more about because what happens is the injection will the idea behind the virus, it's very interesting, because what it does, and of course I already told you why it was brought here, because of course the idiots in power, they unleashed it. Of course that's what you do when you want to make something happen. You basically bring it here. Of course, why would they lock down the country the second this thing was spreading wild in Wuhan? No, of course not, because you don't understand. There's tremendous power. Those people at the top, they're not even at the top. The 1%, you have to understand, 1% of 7 billion is like 70,000. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, or it might be more. 700,000, 7 million. I forget. Yeah, okay, 7 million. But you see, it's not 7 million people that they're affected. The top 7 million on the planet, but it's the 0.01% of the 1%, which comes out to about 7,000. Those are the real. We're talking about. You go behind a couple of the the curtains. Go behind a couple of them. You can't get all the way to the back, because that's like that's the real mystery. And I know who's in the back of the last curtain. Not going to tell you. Again, it's like a 9-step process. I told you about that. But when you get behind a couple of them, you can see this whole coronavirus thing. I try to explain it to you very simply. Yes, number one, we don't. It's not important if it was designed by the U.S. Army in Wuhan, China, and then released. That's not important as much as what's important is that it was released here, that it was brought here. That's what's really important. See, people are looking in the wrong place. They're digging over there and trying to figure out, oh, how is this coronavirus? How is it brought over here? You're not understanding what the point is. It's like 9/11. What happens is you're looking at the impact of what happened. That can be analyzed just like the coronavirus can, but you're not understanding what led to the impact. See, this is where real thinking comes in. This is when you have to actually look at this thing and go, huh, like this is comprised of this, and this. You have to look at all compositions of what's going on inside here. Do you hear that? There's something inside. This is very important. We want to understand what everything is made up of. And that's real analysis. None of that is done when we talk about 9/11. Some people, what they do, they discuss the inner workings of the cube a little bit here and there. I showed you some research done by doctors in University of Fairbanks, Alaska. They're good. They're good, but again, they only looked at things basically one dimensionally. They understand like what the cube is and what it's comprised of, but they don't understand the inner workings of it. But I give it up to them for at least, putting together some serious literature and stuff. And then unfortunately, guys like David Icke, they're just immediately dismissed like this when he goes all the way to the bottom of the rabbit hole, and he says it's people, the way that the dark energy forces is reptilian archons, and they're because we're dirty creatures, so they have to like come through to work with the special gloves. When they're in their dimension, they're working on us, they're moving things around. The problem is he goes a little too deep. And I'm not gonna unload on 9/11. What I know, what I've read and everything. I'll do a full discussion. The full unloading thing is on 9/11. That'll be on 9/11. I will do the whole episode, the whole show when we dig deep into 9/11. But I will open up about the coronavirus. It's very important. You have to understand. They want, it's like, well, this vaccination thing, and then what they do is they kind of outcast you. Oh, you're not vaccinated. You're not vaccinated. I go, hey, you put foreign diseases, foreign things in your body that are not necessary. Why? Well, because out of what? Out of fear is what it is. Okay, it's out of fear. My mom is a prime example of this. She's she's my mom, but she's not she's not the sharpest tool in the shed. Walking around with two masks on your face, getting inoculated and all this shit. She was getting sick and everything, can't breathe. What do you think they're trying to do? Okay, you got to understand this. How is that good for your health? Well, then they try to scare the shit out of you, saying you're going to catch this thing. Okay, well, you're not 6 feet away or this kind of thing. Look, they're trying to sell you something. Now, my point of all of this is that the people of the top 1% and the 0.1%, they love this, what's going on, okay? Because it's all part of they know, they don't care. It's like, to get rid of a problem. I think I told you this. Sometimes, there's hard decisions that have to be made. And, this virus thing, it was created for that reason. And it's not that it was just created for that reason. It was unleashed for that reason. See, that's what's the important thing. It's important to understand how it got here. Okay? How did it get to the U.S.? How did it get into the U.S. when it was already starting to spread wide over there? Hey, wait, what's going on? Of course, instead of like locking down the country, no one comes in, no one comes out. Do you remember what happened after 9/11? If you were alive, you remember. All planes were grounded. All, except I think it was fighter jet patrols, F-16s or something like that. They were all grounded except one. Okay, I think I have to. Memory serves. They said there's a conspiracy theory that the Bin Laden family that was here, they were allowed to fly out of here for their own protection. I'm almost positive. Like I've heard of arguments that was the only plane that was allowed, a commuter plane that was allowed to take off. But then that conspiracy theory has been refuted by saying no, it wasn't until like planes were allowed to fly again that they were allowed to leave. But still, nevertheless, it just shows you, raises, there's so many red flags, about 9/11. I mean, it's you could shake your head till you become dizzy as hell, because none of it makes any sense. Actually, it makes all perfect sense when I put it all together for you in 2 months, less than 2 months. But you're not understanding what is going on here. Now, a lot of people knock Trump about this, and the problem is that he comes off very egotistical, the way he's like, very, but he's basically a dude that doesn't take any shit, like he's open, he's straightforward, he was straightforward, and what happens is there's people that are way, way above that. They don't like that. They don't, or they you have to understand. First off, some of the most powerful people on this planet, they control the media. All of it, all of it. So whatever is shown because it's okay. Okay. Now, what Trump tried to do, he tried to like go after that. He said, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna tell it like it is. I'm for the people." I try, and what happened was the media thing did not like that. They just said, "Hey, wait, what?" So Trump he held his ground. Like came after him strong, and those powerful entities, they're part of it. They're like a small part of the control mechanism of everything, and he went after that. And the problem is that even him, he's like this compared to this. Can you imagine the guy's like worth $8 billion, and he went up against the media? So that's like we're talking about the entity that controls everything you see, read, and know. That's like a tremendous. It's a tremendous thing, but even the media is minute compared to the ultimate powers that control everything. Okay, so you have to understand, like it was like this versus this, and then there's beyond, you know, what you can imagine that controls everything. So, but what controls our perception of the media that we see, that can be analyzed. I think it's 4 or 5 different groups, conglomerates that own everything. I forget it. News Corp, the Comcast, AOL, Comcast, or whatever. They merge with all these things, and of course they merge. They team up because you see within a team up, then they control all the channels. That way they can put on. Okay, well, like Disney, so it owns ESPN. It owns this, that, Marvel. You understand? When you can monopolize like that, then you can control a lot of different. There's so much power and leverage, and they decide. The people at the top of those corporations, they make the decisions. They show you what they want to show you. They tell you exactly what they want to tell you. Now, remember what I said. Sometimes there's holes poked in that curtain right when something happens, right before the takeoff. Dogecoin, before the takeoff, that area, right? Not when it first came out. Dogecoin was nothing. For a long, long time, it was nothing. It was like 0.0003, and then I think it was before Elon Musk talked about it, right before. Then he talked about it. That area is everything. That time. That's when you're able to see behind. That's when you're able to get, before the shit hits the fan kind of thing. It's so important. But you see, that is the end result of knowledge before. This is the end result. Before, it's fucked up, right? But you have to understand the algorithm, the 9-step process. That way you can understand everything. Your mind, that's your problem is you're trying to understand how to get here, without understanding there's a process to get here. Do you understand this? It equates to everything in life, everything that you don't understand, from the coronavirus to 9/11 to the unidentified aerial phenomenon. All a process. Solving the question that you have. It all comes this way, and it's not done one. There's a couple different ways to solve it. But you see, you want this solved already without even understanding there's a process. And that's where the problem herein lies. That's why most people's head is in the sand. That's why most people are looking this way. That's why I'm looking the other way. And that's why that guy, that Brennan guy, had his hand, he put his hand in his head when I was watching this. I don't know what he knows. I think he was thinking very, very carefully what words he was saying. I don't think like he might. I don't know. But I know there's places you're not allowed to go to, and there's things you're not allowed to see. Okay? And there's a reason why. You're not allowed to take a look behind the curtain, okay? And those people that work there, they ain't gonna say fucking nothing, okay? That's their job. That's their livelihood. That's more important to them. You know, that's a guaranteed job in a life. Good money, money to provide, you know, for their house, their everything, and for their kids and everything. You think they're going to come out there and they're going to tell them what they know? It's all decompartmentalized anyway. You know, the coronavirus, it's just most people, their head is in the sand about it completely. There should have been more. The biggest protests in this country should have happened the second, you know, that thing started to spread here. But people don't understand. They don't understand that it's allowed to happen. Like a script, you know. Most people go to a movie, okay? They don't read the script. They don't understand it. Like somebody wrote that. Now I know life's not a movie and everything like that, but you're not understanding why things happen. It's not happened by accident. And that's what most people think. Everything is an accident. Everything is, you understand the type of planning that goes into making things happen. Anything. It's not a conspiracy theory. That word is misconstrued. When you say conspiracy theory, oh, they faked the moon landing. It was faking the moon landing. It was done on a soundstage, or it was done out in the Nevada desert, or something like. That's the problem. It's either you're here, or you're off on the deep end with this conspiracy theory. This. What about neither? What about neither? Nobody addresses that. I heard this idiot talk on CNBC an hour ago before I got on here. I had to like. He goes, it's either one of the last thing he goes. It's either one of three things. For sure, it's either the Chinese or Russian military have hypersonic technology, advanced technology. I forget what the second one was, and the third one he said alien life, alien intervention, alien invasion, or something, whatever he said. And then they just close it right there. There was not a word said after those three things. Now pigeonhole you into those three beliefs. to box in your thinking, to limit yourself from exactly what it is. Fuck. This is the most important thing I'm going to say about that is that you are never going to be able to figure out what it is. Okay? You're never going to be able to figure out what it is. Just like you're not going to be able to solve this without knowing the algorithm, because there's 80 quintillion combinations. Now, Erno Rubik knew that, okay? But everybody's sitting there trying to solve. I think I got one side here. I think I can do it. It's a 9-step algorithm that could solve it, okay? Not just one. There's multiples, but that's it. And there's no fucking way, without knowing the algorithm, that this can be solved. Period. A case closed. So what you're seeing, whatever videos they're showing to you, that's this. And you don't know what it is, and you're not going to know how to get there. I know exactly what it is. But my understanding is built on the algorithm. And I just gave you the first two leading into the third one. Maybe it does not take exactly 9 steps like it does for that. But the point is the building and understanding, the point of attraction of the red shirt and the bumblebee to it, which is nature. And the misunderstanding of things too. That I'm not to be pollinated, but I attracted the bumblebee. Do you understand? Are you getting any kind of clarity? But you want to know is simply, is it alien beings that are being attracted to the nuclear power of the warship? Not even discussed. Poke enough holes in the curtain so you might be able to see something. Anyway, I gotta have my lunch. I hope you're starting to gain some understanding. I know the nonsense what Trump said about building that wall and that whole thing, but you don't understand the point of that. It's not the wall, it's what it stood for. Remember, I talked about this many episodes ago. This country should be closed off, and whatever forces we shouldn't even be involved with anything. Taiwan, whatever the fuck these other people. I'm sorry. But we should just concentrate on your own country. Concentrate on our own country. Make it as great as it could be. The problem is, it takes energy. We're wasting our time. We're going there because we're taking all the resources and all the other shit from other people, and that's what creates conflict and world wars. What are you going to do about it? We're just going to go and take your oil from you or your resources with you. That's a problem. I said that this whole dynamic of the way that this is all done, we got it at hand. It became, again, those people, I told you, What happened? I think it was that those powerful people that got together on Jekyll Island. Big decisions that were worked on before that area I talked about. Right before those people, changed the whole dynamic of things, created a central bank, the Federal Reserve. The privately owned, private. It's people don't even understand what that means. Print up whatever money they want. They can do whatever they want. Just about. You control the money supply. I mean, you do anything. And that's what they do. Manipulated everything. They made those feel so powerful. That's why you go everywhere. That's why there's a Chase Bank like on every couple blocks. Control your money. Yeah, the convenience is great and everything like that, but you don't understand. It's not what you're thinking. It's like when you go every block, there's a Starbucks there. Do you understand like what that means? That means they control you. You're being manipulated, but you don't see it. It's like you're an addict. These people, they drink coffee, all the time. It's an addiction, and they have you like. I know I went off on a little tangent, a little different thing, but it's like they just people like they just don't have an open mind. They're either these conspiracy theory emotional people. They're not doing analysis. What they're doing is they're upset. They get mad. The government, they don't get it. That's not how you get to you don't get a poke in the curtain or look behind it through anger or through protesting, like throwing your that's not creative. What you got to do is be a creative researcher, and that's hard to do. That requires a lot of reading, a lot of learning, a lot of discipline, and taking out the emotions that are tied into everything. That's incredibly difficult to do. But most people, I told you, coronavirus is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. I can 100% guarantee it. There's not a doubt in my mind. It's not going to be eradicated. There's no way. I think, what was it? Was it Sylvia Brown or somebody talked about this? They said that there's going to be two. I forget. They said there's going to be. There was one. The first one to be completely eliminated. Then the second one, forget about it. And then once that's gone, it'll be wiped from the planet completely. But that was her theory. I have a different theory that I said no. This thing, no. No, it needs to see. Look at the world population. Remember, I went like this. And look at what year. Everything by was the Industrial Revolution. Remember, I talked about that area. That was what, around 1930s. Before. Does it make a little more sense to you? The powerful meetings that I talked about, Jekyll Island, right before that space. And everybody goes to gold standard in 71 and stuff like that. No fucking idea. We're going to take 1971, was it? Nixon came on. We're going to take the U.S. off the gold standard. I'm busy. I'm ready. I'm not a crook. And he said that basically just accentuated, but it was already, that whole plan was already in place, uh, way before then, way before. Those powerful people, that's what those powerful people do. They're there they're doing setup before the party. Okay. Actually, they don't do the physical setting up, but they set the blueprint. Then there's people to build or execute or to, whatever. And then simply at that point, showtime. You need to understand the blueprint of everything. You need to understand the blueprint of everything. Because there is a blueprint for everything. There's a script, a blueprint, and a reason that explains everything. We will try to bring that to light. I'm making something to eat. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you begin to open up your mind and begin to see what's going on. Believe me, I have a lot more to say about this. And unfortunately, it's not a lot of things that you're going to want to hear, but it's the reality. Get used to it. Sorry, people head in the sand. Most people are, just their head is in the fucking sand.